In this video, I'll reveal all the reasons why new cars lose value so quickly, and we're starting right now. So let's say you're looking to buy a new car and you had your sights set on a 2024 BMW X5. Hey, why not? Pretty sweet ride. The entry-level S-Drive 40i version of it starts at just around $66,000. So you head to the BMW dealer, whip out your finest negotiating skills, and agree on a final price of $62,000. You set up the financing, take possession of the vehicle, and drive it off the lot that day. But the moment you drive it off the dealer's lot, the X5's value drops by a whopping $10,000. If you were to turn around and try to sell it back later that afternoon with barely a few miles on it, you'd get $52,000 for it at most. And it gets even worse. Over the course of a year, you slowly decide you don't like the Beamer anymore and want to sell it 12 months after purchasing it. Checking the various price guides, you realize that even though you kept it in pristine shape, your shiny BMW is now worth another $12,000 less, and no one will pay you more than $40,000 for a car that you shelled out $62,000 for just last summer. Okay, what the happened? Well, let me first say I'm not picking on just BMWs. While they do have a rather sharp rate of depreciation, almost all cars are affected by a rapid drop in value that starts right after purchase, and here's why. You see, something profound and quite obvious happens when you sign the purchase contract and drive off with a new car. It instantly becomes reclassified as used or wholesale in legal terms. This matters because of one word: incentives. A new car qualifies for manufacturer to dealer and dealer to buyer incentives, and a used one generally does not. In plain English, if we're able to return the car soon after purchase and get all of our money back, the dealer will not be able to claim the same incentives from the manufacturer if he tries to sell it again, as it is legally a wholesale vehicle now. Also, it is likely you got a discount on the purchase price, and that is factored into the value calculations. Thus, it's unlikely they will ever see that original price again. Now, you may ask, why can't a car be reclassified back to new if you return it to the dealer soon after purchase and before you rack up any miles on it? Well, it turns out that is illegal. Once a brand new vehicle is signed over to the new owner and physically leaves the dealership's control, it becomes forever used, as there's always a chance something may have happened to it in the time frame between when it left and came back. And frankly, it wouldn't be fair to another party who would be in line to buy the vehicle believing it is in fact completely new. So rather than dealing with sorting all of this out, the approach is straightforward. At the dealership equals new, purchased and driven off the lot equals used. So as a result of losing the ability to get any incentives as well as other wholesaling costs incurred by the dealer, they will now offer you far less for the vehicle. Okay, now that is a dealer, but what about private party sale? Wouldn't a non-dealer be willing to pay you what the car was worth new if you wanted to sell it with just a few miles on it? Well, technically that shouldn't be a problem, but in reality things don't work out that way. Unless there's a sizable discount, it's very unlikely any private individual will be willing to buy this vehicle from you for what you paid to the dealer. There's an element of risk there. What advantage can you offer and what guarantee can you give that the vehicle is truly new? After all, the buyer can go to the dealer and get the same car you're offering to sell and have it be guaranteed brand new. The buyer may also rightfully wonder, why are you selling this vehicle after just a few days or a few weeks? In every market transaction, there's what's called information asymmetry. This simply means that the seller usually knows more about what they're selling than the buyer. Thus, the buyer will definitely have a suspicion that something may be wrong with the car. After all, if it was wonderful, why would you be selling it so quickly? Okay, so that was a look behind the curtain to see why your car drops in value so much immediately after being purchased brand new. And to be honest, there isn't much you can do about it aside from not overpaying for the new car in the first place. But what about the first year of ownership and the subsequent years after? Well, during the first year of ownership and continuing into the second and third, you have what is called wear and tear depreciation. This is the normal collection of minor dings, scratches, dust, dirt, and spilled drinks on the seats that come with just about any car ownership. If you drive the car, the windshield will not look new, and bugs and pebbles will rough up the front end and the undercarriage. Now sure, you can avoid or minimize all of this by garaging your car for 3 years straight, as some people do with sports cars that they want to resell later on, but this is not realistic for 99.99% of all vehicles, and the typical car will get used because that is what it gets purchased for. This 3-year time span is an important benchmark in the car industry, and in this time frame, a typical vehicle will lose up to 50% 50% of its value. As an individual owner, you can certainly slow down this depreciation by taking very good care of the car and its appearance. This just may push it from a good to a very good or even excellent condition if you want to sell it after 3 years, so yeah, you can do something about this to a certain extent. It's like aging for a person. You can slow it down with diet and exercise and by avoiding the bad stuff like smoking and drinking, but only to a certain extent. It's no coincidence, by the way, that most leases end at about 3 years as well, and it's this car value depreciation that you're paying for with your lease payments. Finally, we come to the last leg of the depreciation cycle, and that is the 3-year onward period. This refers to the value of the car at 5, 7, and 10-year marks. Here, what matters the most is predicted reliability, and the vehicles that are the most historically reliable will come out on top. There isn't much you can do here as an owner, as the type of car you bought dictates the drop in price, with Japanese makes generally leading the pack with European and American ones behind. There's also the factor of supply and demand. If you have a vehicle that is very popular, it will help prop up prices, while a dud model will of course tank in value. So in the end, these are the 3 factors that go into depreciation. What can you do about each of them to keep your car's value high for a profitable resale? There are 3 main actions to take. First, do not overpay for your new vehicle and do your best to negotiate a fair deal so you're not immediately starting out from a price disadvantage. Second of all, be sure to buy a historically reliable brand known for its high resale value years down the road. And finally, take care of the vehicle throughout its life. That means both mechanical maintenance and keeping it looking new. If you do all 3, you should lose far less money on the vehicle than the average car buyer. Thank you for checking out this video, and I hope you learned a lot about what makes a car lose value. If you did, please do like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video.